It's kind of funny because that was what he was just talking about is actually what the initial topic of this was going to be. And that's, I mean, it's just basically kind of getting over the pain. And the reality is, it's like you fight for things. And I kind of was the same way. It's like my entire life, it was like struggling, trying to get things, get to the point I wanted to get to. And it just seemed like everything was a struggle. And it also seemed like every time I really desired something or wanted something, even if it was a job or a position or whatever it was like it was constantly being attacked. It was like I was constantly in this running gun battle trying to just survive. And what I did learn early on, and even with this knowledge, I still took me a few years to reconcile this in my own head and my own relationship. And that's when you really want something and someone's taking it away. A lot of times, if you just say, you know what, I don't care anymore, it loses all its power. Now, just to clarify, I'm not saying, you really want to have a relationship with your kids and walk away from that. I'm not saying that. You got to fight for that as long as you can. But it's when you get to the point where you're like, you know what, I can drive myself insane, spinning my wheels, beating my head against the wall, trying to change the other person or get things to go a certain way. But if you just say, okay, you know what, I can waste the rest of my life fighting against this or being bitter or angry, or just, okay, I finally get to a point where I just make my peace with it. So I actually made some notes on this. So I'm going to run through this real quick. And it's like the first thing I had is, does the pain ever end? And this kind of came up in a Discord discussion the other day, where a person was basically talking about how they had this pain in their chest that just wouldn't go away. And I had the same thing, and it felt like it was never going to end. So the first thing is, and the last caller basically mentioned, the first thing is you have to work through that pain, right? You have to work through it. You can't just hide it. You can't put it under the bed. You can't just ignore it, because if you do, it's going to come back and bite you worse than if you just deal with it. You're already feeling the pain, and I almost want to say embrace it and just grab onto it and run through the fire, like using the analogy the last caller was using about the, being surrounded by fire and just getting through it. Yeah, you might get a little bit burned, but once you're out of it, you'll survive. Whereas if you just stay, you're never going to get any better. The next part of this is you got to realize the reality of what you're dealing with and effectively confront that. Again, that goes back to what the last caller was talking about, that if we don't do this, inevitably what will happen is we will find another person to try to teach us the same lesson. So go through it. You're already feeling the pain. Deal with it now. It freaking hurts. It's not fun. It feels terrible, but you have to go through it. Otherwise, it'll just stay the same. We're in these situations, we're going through it, we're already there. It's like, it's like you're already in the stupid line and you might as well pick up a couple of more things before you check out. I don't know if that analogy makes sense. I just made that up real quick. The next thing that I had on here is absolute thinking, which I do talk about that. Let me move over here. If you go to the main YouTube channel, this video right here, absolute thinking for recovery, I think it's critically important because effectively what it's doing is it's helping reprogram your mind to what is real. Instead of trying to be stuck, or instead of being stuck in the fantasy, you have to recondition your mind to say, no, it wasn't real. It was a freaking illusion. It was a mind game. It was manipulation. It wasn't based on anything other than those things. And if you watch the video, basically I say, even though that, every other time I say against this, but it's really important at the beginning to figure out, to effectively say, okay, I'm dealing with bang, whatever it is. If it's just a toxic person that's not healthy for me, fine. And just reminded of that. If it's saying the person is NPD, fine. The problem is you got to break that interrupt loop to where you're continually going around and around and around and around and around and making zero progress. The next thing is that find a trauma therapist in your area if you can, who really understands and gets it. not a normal therapist. I mean, look at their, go online, look at their ratings and see what their specialty is. And if they have a specialty in trauma recovery, they're probably, not to say all of them are going to be perfect on it, but that's going to be a better bet than somebody who's a brand new, marriage and family MFT who has no experience and doesn't get it and is just following the normal playbook on how to treat a patient. Not to say that those people don't have a purpose, but no, that didn't even sound right. What I'm saying is that you need somebody who understands and gets it, right? I mean, for instance, you're not going to go to a foot doctor if you're having lung problems. They're probably perfectly fine for their specialty, and they might know some things about the lungs, but it's not going to be, they're not on the top of the game on that. That's not their specialty. Find somebody whose specialty is trauma and work with them. And finally on this is you have to get to the point where you're just done. You're done with the ruminating. You're done with thinking about it. You're done with feeling like crap. And you wake, effectively what happens is you wake up one day and you're done. And you're like, okay, I've been angry for so long. I've been depressed and sad and upset. And you just have to basically get to the point where you're like, okay, I beat my head against the wall enough. I'm not going to do it anymore. It took me, I think, 3 years to get to that point. I don't remember the exact date. One of these days I'll have to look at my notes because I could probably find it. But it takes a while to get to that point. If you're not there, that's okay. It may take you 6 more months. It may take you a year. It may take you 2 weeks. I don't know. Every one of us has a different timeline. Am I happy that it took me 3 years? Absolutely not. That was the darkest time in my life. And there were times I wasn't sure if I was going to make it to the other side of this. And let me see. How do I say this? It's not that it's like I wasn't sure if the pain would ever go away. I used to feel like this was going to be a chronic wound that would never go away, and I would just have to learn to deal with the pain. Now, at one point, I made my peace with that. I did not want to go there. I made my peace with that, and it was, I thought, okay, you know what? This sucks. This is going to hurt forever, but I'm kind of at a point to where it's like a dull, aching pain, and I can survive it. What I will tell you now is I'm beyond that. I don't feel that anymore. I don't have those same type of feelings. So more than likely, you're not going to be trapped there either. Is it going to be easy? No. Is it going to happen overnight? No. But do I believe? I believe that it is going to happen for you, that you will, if you work through this and you put in the work and you work on yourself and you peer in the dark closet and shine a light into it to clear out the crap, you will. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Break the Cycle with DSD podcast. I do this show live every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Pacific time. If you want to catch a full show, tune into this channel, subscribe, and hit the like button. Or you can find the podcast version on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or your other favorite podcast directories. Hope to see you on the next show.